Today, I begin a new life, for I'm the master of my abilities. And today, it's going to be a great, beautiful day.
YouTube was good. I'm back with another video. So look, as you can tell by the thumbnail, this waiver does not take his do-rag off. I've been cutting his hair for like 10 years now, and this is literally the only hairstyle that he ever had. Like, I never seen him with a different hairstyle. And he loves to woof. Like, he don't get his hair cut often at all. So because he woof for so long and he wear his do-rag so tight all the time, it changed his hair growth pattern, where his neck area is and the crown area. So it's kind of hard for me to cut the back of his hair because the back grows so crazy, as well as his crown. But I always find a way, to manipulate it and, cut it right to where the blend will come out nice. You'll see it later in the video once I taper the back part. So I start by cutting the hair down with the 1.5 guard close, cutting it down to the desired length that he wants it. For any waiver, I recommend that you cut the hair down with the 1.5 guard close or the 1 guard open, because it's not going to be too long and it's not going to be too short. It's going to be at that perfect length to where the waves is going to pop. It really depends on your hair texture, like if your hair is coarse or if it's like softer. For softer hair, of course, you have to use a bigger guard, because if you use a smaller guard, then you're going to cut all their progress out. You're going to cut their hair too short and their waves is not going to show anymore. So with straighter hair, you have to use a bigger guard so the waves can show. So right here, I'm just brushing the hair real quick, getting any loose hairs out so I can start the taper. Starting with the lever close, I go up to the temple area, and that's going to be my first guideline. And you want to make sure you either brush or comb after every stroke, because you want to make sure you keep your area clean from any loose hairs, just so those loose hairs won't be in the way while you're fading. As you can see, I'm being real consistent with my stroke, making sure every stroke counts, because I want to make sure I keep my canvas clean and I want to make sure I see what I'm cutting. You don't want to have all that hair in the way while you're blending, because it's just going to throw you off. So just make sure you have a clean canvas. As a waiver, woofing could be a good or a bad thing for you, because you can over woof or under woof. If you over woof, that means you just growing your hair out and you brushing your hair, and your hair is long, and when you brush your hair, the bristles is not touching your scalp. So all you're doing is growing your hair out, and that can mess up the pattern of your hair and it can mess up your waves. If you under woof, that means your connections is not going to be right. You're not allowing your hair to get those connections that you're looking for. So I recommend to woof for a month and get a haircut, but don't get it cut too low, just so you won't lose any progress. To me, his waves really don't look that bad. I mean, they could be better, but unfortunately he did over woof, so that did mess up his progress a little bit. Really taking my time with this taper, making sure that I blend it right, because by him over woofing and going through a woofing stage, the texture of his hair did get messed up. So if I don't cut it right, his taper is going to be patchy. So I'm making sure I'm blending it, making sure I'm cutting every hair that I need to cut to make sure every little piece of hair is laid and the blend is perfect. You see everything coming together real nice. Some of y'all like, dang, he taking forever. You gotta be patient when it comes to these kind of cuts. When people woof for so long, you gotta make sure you do it right, or it's not gonna come out right. The cut is not gonna come out right. was talking about earlier. You guys see his hair pattern in the back and how it grows? That's from wearing his do-rag too tight and wearing it too long. It changed his hair pattern and it caused his hair pattern to grow all crazy, which make it harder to blend because his hair in the back grows all different ways. This is what comes with overwoofing and wearing your wave cap too long. People think during the woofing process, they think, oh, let me wear my wave cap all day. It's gonna help my pattern. It's gonna help my hair or my waves connect the way I want it to. No, you have to only wear your wave cap or your do-rag when you lay down. During the day, when you're walking around and stuff, don't wear a wave cap. Just brush your hair, comb your hair, brush your hair, and leave it until you about to lay down. Unless you go out somewhere and you don't have a haircut, I recommend just getting a lineup. But if you don't, obviously you can wear the wave cap, but try not to have it on all day. Doing this back taper was not easy. The way his hair grew and the pattern changed, I had to turn the clippers all kind of ways just so I won't patch them, because if the hair wasn't cut right, I was for sure going to leave a patch. And I didn't want to bring his taper up too high because it was just going to look crazy. It was just going to go from light to dark, and I don't want to have that. So I took my time with this and made sure I cut it right, and it did come out clean. Always make sure you do touch-up work. Always make sure you knock out any dark spots or any lines in your cuts. You could do it during the fade or after, whichever one you prefer. I like to do mine during, so that way I'm knocking out any time or unnecessary time on the this side out and get to the lineup. Cowlick on his hairline, meaning the hair grows in a circular motion. So you can see certain parts on his hairline is lighter than the rest. So the darker spots, I'm gonna just knock that down with the one guard open, just so it can look a little bit more even. And I laid the front hair down so the hairline can be flat and laid for when I line it up. And you have to be careful when lining people up that has cowlicks, because you can easily push their hairline back, and people with cowlicks, they'll notice if their hairline is pushed back. So you want to make sure you use holding spray, brush their hair down, blow dry it, and stay on the natural hairline. In some cases you do have to push the hairline back because some sides are higher than the others, but if it's pretty like straightforward and the hairline is straight, always make sure you stay on the natural hairline. It doesn't have to be super crispy. And most of the time people get enhancements anyway, but if they prefer a natural hairline or a natural lineup, make sure you stay on the natural hairline. And if you are going to push it back, make sure you show the client how the hairline is going to look if it doesn't get pushed back. So let them decide if they want their hairline pushed back or if they just want to leave it natural, as you see me do here with this client. You see me barely tapping the hairline, leaving everything as natural as possible, barely cutting anything. And to achieve something like this, you want to make sure your liners are adjusted and sharpened correctly, so that way all you have to do is just tap the hairline and you don't have to keep going over it. I knew he wanted to see his hairline, so that's why I turned his head towards the camera. So now I'm gonna spray a little bit of enhancements on this hairline just to bring it out more, because that's what you want it. And I'm not spraying it heavy. I'm spraying it light because I still want it to look natural, but look more defined and more enhanced. I really don't like when barbers spray enhancements on really heavy, because you can tell it look fake. It look too noticeable. I like mine to look more natural, to be on the natural side. That's why I always make sure the natural hairline is as crispy as possible, so that way I don't have to add a lot of enhancements on whenever I do use it. Using a straight razor to make sure I get all those little stubble hairs that the clippers did not get, making sure I get the hairline as crispy as possible. Learn how to use the straight razor. The straight razor can be your best friend. I know it may be scary at first because you think you're gonna cut somebody, but once you get used to it, you're gonna become a pro at using the straight razor, and you're gonna love using it because you're gonna notice how much more cleaner your haircuts and shaves gonna come out. Back size up, almost bringing this haircut together. And I said almost bringing this haircut together because there's one more step that we have to do before we finish this haircut. When lining the nape area, you do not want to push this area in. I notice a lot of barbers, when they get to this point of the cut, they always push it in. For some reason, I don't know why, it looks crazy when you look at it from the back and you can see all the extra hair that got cut off. And when that hair starts to grow back, that grow back is going to look nasty. So make sure you line the nape area, line it up as natural as possible. I know some people may have hair that grows all the way down to the bottom of their ear. That's when you have to really figure out where the starting point should be when lining this part of the hair up. And it's hard to tell you where the starting point should be on this part of the hair because people's necks are shaped different, but my advice is to start as wide as possible, then work your way down to where it starts to look good to you. Right here is the finishing touches. Whenever you cut a waver, always make sure you do this right here. Make sure you cut off the little hairs that's standing up. Look how much cleaner the haircut is coming out just by me cutting off those little straggly hairs that's sticking up. So whenever cutting a waver, make sure you always do this step right here, and once you do that, this is the outcome. I appreciate y'all watching the video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.